Websites, some of them are stuff we've already looked at, but new websites and then apps for your phones. If you guys have like tools or ideas of stuff that has helped you stay organized or like on top of your finances, feel free to share them. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started. But the thing I wanted to highlight first and foremost is what do you already have available. Because a lot of times you get really overwhelmed, you don't know where to search. And so many of you participate or use banks or credit unions, and many banks and credit unions have really helpful websites, and I'm going to highlight just a few of them. I also need to make sure you realize I'm not like supporting one over another, because I can't tell you where to do business. And when I kind of do an evaluation of the apps, I'll try to be honest, or just like when I was reading terms and conditions, some red flags and stuff that I saw. But we'll kind of just touch base on all of this. The first thing that I think is most important, if you are employed right now, or if you're retired and did have like an employer-sponsored health plan, you have a ton of resources available that you probably didn't even know about. I'm going to highlight one employer specifically, just like the state of Utah through Utah retirement systems, but most every employer has these options available. If you are retired and are drawing on that retirement, a lot of times they'll have a retirement or benefits specialist available that you can contact and make a free appointment to sit down and discuss kind of things that are going on. If you're wondering, like, where do I go or how do I even find this information, your human resource departments are typically very helpful. You can also log in if you have like an employee portal. I ripped this icon off of an actual local employer and one of the biggest employers in the state. But if you just go to their website and then scroll all the way down, the employees can log in right there and find out all this information. And then benefits and compensation are huge. Like if you just like go to your company's website and type that in, like usually you're always going to find something that comes up. And then employee helplines, some employers have these, some don't. And Healthy Live programs, a lot of times, if they'll have like an incentive to like set goals or something, some of those goals have to do with like your finances and getting on top of that. So that's another great resource and place to check. The place I want to highlight, and I'm not advocating that you all work for the state or for the county, it's just one that I'm a little bit more familiar with. So if you have a retirement through Utah retirement systems, and I'll go ahead and show you this website. They have calculators available online. They have estimates of if I work for the county this long or if I work for the state this long, how much can I receive? Typically, if you're a state and county employee, you have two options available to you. You have 401k or 403bs, so you can contribute yourself. Remember from a couple weeks ago, there are also pension plans available, that if you work X number of years for the state, then you're going to receive X number of dollars back depending on the plan option that you picked. And this is the thing that I thought was really cool, is you can go in and there's two types of consultations available. You can do basic question and answer and just recommendations. You can also do a comprehensive retirement planning. So you can take your information with you about an IRA, about a 401k maybe with an old employer. They're going to sit down with you and talk about all of the numbers and all of your options, so you walk out of there feeling like on top of the world, like you can make a really good decision. If you are one of these employees that needs to make an appointment, all you have to do is log on to your MyURS account, and then these are just helpful phone numbers. If you have questions about pension plans, you can call either of these numbers, and these are local people that are there to help you. And then questions on savings plans are there as well. And a lot of employers, and URS is actually one of them, and even if you're not a URS employee, you can go in and just watch their like how-to videos. The guy that does them is hilarious. He's like the retirement guru, and he just has a lot of fun with them. So if you're wanting like a quick like how can I do this, it's a really great place to go. I'm going to show you, when I hop onto the bank websites, I'll touch back on this website. The presentation just takes so long, like going back and forth. I'm going to just do all of that stuff at one time. Another place that you can check is your bank's websites. This website, this screen capture, comes from America First Credit Union. But if you go on, like a lot of times you're just like in a rush and you're like, oh, so much is my account, and you go in and out and you don't pay attention. How many of you have actually searched the resources on your bank's website? A couple? Okay. There's tons of things available. Were you surprised by any of the information you found or saw?
I was pretty much familiar with those.
Okay.
What I expected to see.
So it's what you had expected. So they lived up to your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
What you can do is you can go in and check loans, accounts, services is where this comes up if you are a member of America First Credit Union, but they have all of these different options. They have tons of financial tools and calculators available. And then if you feel like you're getting buried and you need to go talk to somebody but you don't have money to actually pay for it, America First has free financial counseling available. And they also partner with a couple of the agencies here in the Valley that provide free help and support if you're needing some additional guidance. So they'll help you kind of get you on track, and America First has a lot of different tools, and most banks do. But if you need a little bit extra, they can refer you to these other agencies as well, so they kind of partner with them that way. And as far as I know, as long as you're a member of the bank, the financial counseling is free of charge, and I've heard really great things about the counselors that they have there. This is another video that I wanted to show you. So Wells Fargo has a really fantastic education portal on their website. They have videos, they have interactive games for kids if you're needing to teach them about that in their hands-on banking program. But I'm going to have us watch this video. This is just a 2-minute video, a review of what compound interest is. And sometimes for me, videos mean more than reading, because sometimes I get bored and I fall asleep. So I'll have you watch this video, and then we'll pop onto actually some of the websites, and I'll kind of walk you through and just show you some of that stuff. Can you guys hear it okay?
Who said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world? Was it A, Benjamin Franklin, B, Albert Einstein, C, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or D, Mark Twain? When it comes to finances, knowing what to do can be tricky. I mean, you've got student loans, auto loans, and other debt. You've got a lot of things going on. Maybe you're beginning a career, buying a home, or starting a family. That's a lot to think about. And on top of that, you also have to start thinking about saving for your future. Believe me, the sooner you start, the fewer worries you'll have down the road. The key reason to start thinking about the future now is the power of compounding interest. It is such a key concept, and it's the reason to start putting money away right now, even if it's just a little bit. Let's look at an example. One person opens an IRA with $1,000 at age 20 and contributes $1,000 for the next 10 years and stops at age 30. Another person opens an IRA at age 45 with $1,000 and contributes $1,000 for the next 20 years. At age 65, the person who started at age 20 will have more than $115,000, while the person who started at age 45 will only have $40,000 after contributing twice the amount. So what's the takeaway? Start putting away money now. Even a little bit per month can really add up. If your company offers a 401k and they offer matching savings, contribute at least the match amount, or you're leaving free money on the table. If not, open an IRA and set up regular automated transfers. That way you won't even have to think about it. So who said compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world? The answer is B, Albert Einstein. I'm your host for My Financial Minute. Check back often to continue the conversation.
So that is just one resource that's available. If you bank at Wells Fargo, obviously you can use that, but if you don't bank at Wells Fargo, you just go onto their education portal, and I'll show you where that is, and you can watch this. They have stuff on IRAs, 401ks, pretty much any investing thing you could think of, they have a short snippet about it. And I loved it because that visual is there, you're like, okay, the power of compound interest, maybe you're trying to teach your kids or a child about it, pull up the video, and bam, they have a visual that proves that it works. So those are some really great resources that way. What I'll do is I'm going to hop on to some different websites. If you guys have a bank website that you want to check out, we can go to it right now. Some of the websites I was searching didn't have as much available as far as education was concerned, but I was surprised at how much some of them did. So we'll get to the website. The first website is for any county and state employees. If you're needing to know where can I go or what do I do to schedule an appointment, you'll just go into your members page and then education. This is all the stuff they have available. You can click on counseling sessions, and this is actually what pops up. I already did that. If you need to sign in to schedule an appointment, you're just going to go right in there and choose a date and time that works best for you. So it's pretty slick if you just go to myurs.org. And then some of the bank websites that I thought were cool. So this is Wells Fargo's main page. When you come in here, there's insurance and investing, there's banking, small business, commercial, personal, And then if you're needing to know more, you want to find out more, you can click on financial education. Another thing that Wells Fargo has done a really great job on is translating their information into Spanish. So if you have family members or friends who speak English but feel more comfortable learning in Spanish, they have some fantastic websites and research available through the Wells Fargo portal. You can go in here and you say, okay, I need to learn about investing, or I am a little confused about insurance, what can I do? You can click on any one of these and a bunch of different stuff is going to come up. I'm just going to click on retirement because that's a little bit about what we've been highlighting. Once you get into the retirement portal, you then can see I have 5 steps to retirement income. I have the power of compound interest, which is that video that I snagged, and then understanding retirement risk factors. And if you just scroll down, you can see our My Financial Minute dude right there, and there's some other videos and things that way. If you're wanting to teach your kids about finances, you can do My Hands-on Banking, or like just in the search tab to say, how do I teach my children about money, and a bunch of different stuff will come up. So they have done a fantastic job in that regard. This is the America First website that I had taken a screen capture of. Once again, you just pop into services and they have all of this information. If you need to get a financial counseling session set up, you can click on that. These are warning signs or questions they use to evaluate financial stress. And then if you're needing to meet with them, they'll have you do a budget, and then you can call and just get an appointment set up that way. KeyBanc also had some fantastic information. So this is KeyBanc's personal banking main site. I thought it was cool that you could get a financial peace of mind. They call it a relationship review. So you can actually visit with one of their bankers and kind of evaluate your situation. You guys might be trying to prepare to buy a house. Back here, you guys might be trying to figure out how to finance education. So you can go there, take your questions there, and they can walk you through those kind of. If you don't really like talking to people and you're like, I can do this on my own, I don't need somebody's help, you can just pop right on their website and then go to education, financial education resources over here. And I'll just click on that to show you. And then you can kind of go in. They have a lot of different financial wellness center, take control of your money, and the calculators that are available. USAA, if you're a member of the military or have a family member that's a member of the military and you open an account with them, you can pop in here and they actually have people available to speak with you, I believe 24 hours a day. And then it says, put us to work for you, call us with your questions and track your progress. That's how they can help. And then if you're really needing help with complex needs, you pop on there. They have a bunch of different resources available. You can do investment reviews, financial assessments. You can click on investing. So there's a lot of different resources out there. Every bank has them set up just a little bit differently. But usually if you go into like products, advice, or help, you're going to be able to track them down if I haven't highlighted your bank. Mountain America Credit Union. I thought this one was interesting. So they have theirs on tools. So you can click there. Mountain America actually does a really good job with publications. They do like a financial magazine, or kind of just like it's called 8 Financial Pillars, or Pillars of Financial Education. And then they do their Green Path Financial Wellness. Green Path is actually a partnership they have with a third-party entity. So make sure if you're clicking on something for your bank that you've read, is this actually the bank or is this through a third party? And they'll tell you that there. They'll disclose that to you. They're not trying to keep anything secret. They have money moment video tips. Mountain America does. Something that I thought was really interesting. I get kind of excited about goofy things. But they have at Mountain America, they actually have investment advisors that work for Mountain America and then LPL Financial. And so LPL Financial is an investment, like a brokerage firm. Who is LPL Financial? And they tell you what they are. And then the bankers at Mountain America are paid by Mountain America as well as LPL. So they work for both companies. They're at the banks and the local branches, so they can help you out, get started with your investments and things like that. So if you're wanting to visit with a member and it says for a free, no obligation consultation, give us a call today. So most of these banks and credit unions offer free counseling to you, so you guys can sit down with a personal banker and kind of evaluate and figure out your situation and your goals and wherever you're at that way.
Do you have Utah how it employs credit union?
Let's look it up.
Let's see if they're how it includes.
Okay. Utah Power, it's Utah
Employees.
Power Employees Credit Union? Okay, there it is. You are right. I appreciate Google and Yahoo search. This will be good. So this is my first time ever on the website. So usually what I do is I'll just like scroll over something and it says services, online applications, and contact us. I'm going to click on services. It says here that they have bill pay, financial services. They encourage us to explore their site, and they can do financial planning, investments, and insurance.
Doesn't look like they have
They-
the on-site tools.
It
That's the
doesn't look
reason
like
I
they do.
asked, because I was thinking,
I'm going to zoom in. Thank you, because I'm like squinting. There you go. So there's
Might want to zoom a little out just so I can see what
Alt or Control.
they're control.
Thank you. I get confused
There.
between. Okay, so yeah, it says we encourage you, for more information, visit our financial services center. So they're referring us to another website. Let's click there. So it's through Utah Power Investment Services. So not quite on site like the bank. Does anyone else have another bank or credit union they want to check? Maybe Federal?
Does it say ahoy?
Ahoy? Maybe Federal Credit Union. So they have their products and services. You click there, that all pops up. Over here on the one side, it looks like they have financial planning. And I can come back to that. The thing that struck me is their advice and planning. So you can do family finances, managing your money, military life. So marriage and money, starting a family, youth finances, college and planning, estate planning if you're needing to get that set up. Is there one you guys wanted to click on? Do you want to do financial planning, or was there one? Okay. Just look up financial planning. It says, let's make a goal, personal finance.
Click on retirement. Balance.
It's talking to you about Social Security, rollovers. Yes, so it's a take advantage of our expert guidance, or find an advisor near you. So you can click there and probably do zip code, or you can get them a holler, and they'll be able to answer your questions. Another bank I forgot to put on here. So Zion's Bank, who's fairly large in the state of Utah and parts of Idaho, they have a partnership with Dave Ramsey and the Financial Peace University. Now that I'm telling you about it, I'm not going to be able to find it. But there was a spot on their learning center where you could go in and actually like request a seminar in your area. And they do financial peace a couple of times a year. Financial peace, like PACE, is Dave Ramsey's class. But you can go in and sign up, and then they also, I thought this was cool, they have free webinars. So you might not have time to leave kids or work, but you can just click on free webinars right there and pull those up and learn. Kind of walk through things that way.
just a point, that Dave Ramsey has a free seminar going on right now. I think it's a 9-session one. We're having the second one tonight.
Yeah.
It's actually here at the other end of the library.
No way.
And then we have them every Tuesday here, continuing. So when we get done here, you think it's a free
Class as well.
class as well, but it's for a longer duration.
Excellent.
Dave Ramsey's pretty well thought of. You know, he was
Yes.
part of the council that was taken to the White House when, was it Bill Clinton or was it Obama, when he pulled all of the big business people in and financial people.
I think it was President Clinton, but I'm not sure.
It might have been
Just
that.
by how long Dave Ramsey's been kind of in the field.
Yes.
He has some really great tools and resources that way, and if that class is free, I recommend, if you're interested, you can also pick up his books and things that way as well. But thank you so much. Is there any other tools or anything you guys want to check out? That's kind of just a little bit.
Can you look up Cypress Credit Union?
Absolutely. Let's
Please.
check out Cypress.
I thought that Ramsey guy was the.
Yeah, this webinars, you'd have to have a client account.
Let's
I
see.
think so.
Let's see.
This is registered.
Ramsey's.
I thought it was the King DJ.
I was actually listening to him on YouTube.
Oh yeah, and he also has a radio show. I think every evening, like on 105.7, like he'd be like talk radio, giving away all my secrets.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. Okay.
And I think, I'm not sure if I heard her question correctly, a lot of these services are available even if you don't have an account with them.
Yes. Yep.
And what the account number is to allow you to go in and if you have funding in there. I guess it would depend on which company it is.
So this one, their upcoming webinars, they're doing one on Insurance Planning 101. This is coming in 2016, and then they've got one on tax prep. So if you just kind of keep checking back here, they should have post dates for them, or dates posted. I said that reverse. And you said check out Cypress, right? Okay. Under accounts, there's some different things there. They have special teams accounts, online. These are some of their services. As you can tell, like if I'm new to a site, I just kind of stumble through things. That's just how I search. So they have budget resource. They have payment calculators, the Savvy Money Checkup. They have fair credit counseling, and then car buying tools and debt protection that way. And then if you're wanting to buy a vehicle for sale through their repossessions, you can click on that as well. And then they have tax resources. So is there one you wanted to check on? Okay. So
Want me to log on and see how much money I don't have?
Yeah, Danny. Give us your password, your PIN number, and if you
102
want to
555.
take notes, everyone. We're going to teach
This
you
is being
how,
recorded, of course.
how to connect identity.
And the password's Pearl Jam.
Oh, nice. Your security questions. Where did you grow up, and what's your dog's name? So some of these websites are websites I've kind of been talking about as we've gone along, but I just wanted to like reiterate to you like the power that's in them. One site that I didn't highlight too much last week is, so we have the Federal Securities and Exchange Commission, but we also have the Utah Securities and Exchange Commission. And they have, if you guys have teens in like middle school or high school, you might hear them talking about the stock market game. This game is like set up to simulate the actual markets, and kids can buy and sell stocks and like figure out who's going to win the game, and they actually win it by having their stocks grow the most. So it's kind of a fun hands-on activity for them to do that way. And then you can do Explore the Retirement Toolbox. So if you just go to securities.utah.gov, you can click on all of these. The Retirement Toolbox has tons of helpful resources. If you guys are trying to figure out where you want to be, maybe you're in retirement, maybe you're getting close, or you're super far away from it, they have some fantastic sources there. And that's just on their main page. If you dive over into their For Investors tab, there's still even more information that way. The SEC.gov, this is the Federal Securities and Exchange Commission, and I showed you last week, if we need to submit or file a complaint, we can go there. And then if we're trying to find out if an investment is actually registered. So if somebody's hawking an idea and they're telling you that it's registered and it's going to earn you 20% investments, and you're like, I wonder really, you could go here and see if they've registered with the SEC. And this is a site, all this information is provided to you free of charge, and your tax money goes in to help fund it, so you pay for it in the back end. But take advantage of the resources that are there. And then I just highlighted the education tab. So if you're not really, like, you don't care about all this like regulation or boring things, you can click on here, and it's going to give you fast answers, which are like frequently asked questions, and then investor alerts bulletins, and investor.gov is there. It's a really good website that way. And then here is the investor.gov. So Securities and Exchange Commission, they have kind of a more meaty website here, which is sec.gov, and then they have the investor.gov, which is more of the education and like the hands-on and stuff like that. They have tools here if you're wanting to check out an investment professional. This is their like main tab right now that's going on. And then there's investing basics, kind of for every stage in life. If you're seniors, if you have a particular life event like a marriage coming up or a divorce, researching and all of that are on there as well. FINRA.org, they have some phenomenal resources as well. The FINRA, has any of you gone onto the FINRA site by yourselves? You guys spent some time there. The FINRA site can be a little bit overwhelming because they have so much information. So this is like the bottom half of the website. So if you hop onto the FINRA site and you're like, oh my heck, I don't know, like Shauna said it was here, but I'm lost, just be patient and scroll down. Because if you scroll down about to halfway to the end of the page, that's kind of where all of the need is. Prepare to invest, protect your money, and then tools and calculators. And naturally, if you have a problem, these are the guys that go in and kind of check and investigate, so you can file a complaint with them as well. SaveAndInvest.org. This is in partnership with FINRA. Once again, the SEC kind of has two websites. FINRA has two websites, and this one is bright and vibrant colors to kind of pull you in. SaveAndInvest.org, one of their primary purposes is to provide education to military families. They put a lot of these resources out to be used on bases for the military members and their families as they're transitioning through whatever stage it is in their service. They also have some great tools for youth, and then back over here, tools and resources. If you guys ever have time and don't have any other interesting videos to watch, this Thinking Money site or video that they put together is really fabulous. And I actually have a few copies here if you want to just take like the DVD home, and you can just keep it. But it talks about decision paralysis. Have you guys watched this?
I did.
Okay. What did you learn? Or is there anything that like stuck out that you remember?
You pretty much covered a lot of its basics throughout the classes.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned is that the new generation is totally not saving for retirement. We're spend, and hoping for the best
Yes.
when we get older.
Yes. And that just kind of, it's what we do for whatever reason. But they talk about also decision paralysis and how if we had 20 jars of jelly in a supermarket, it cripples us and we can't decide. But if somebody presents 3 jars of jelly, it's so much easier for us to make a decision. And they've done a lot of case studies on this across the country, so it's kind of fascinating.
They also did they did a testing with wine, and it was the same type of wine, but they made them think that one wine was more expensive and the other one was less expensive. And your mind just mentally makes you think that just because it was more expensive, it was better tasting when it was the exact same wine.
Yes. And the actor that they had doing that skit just kept insisting, well, this one is more expensive. It must have come from this vineyard and this winery because of this, this, and this. So it kind of gives you like a chance to sit back and think about commercialism. Like how many of us go into a store with like 3 items in mind and then we see the buy one, get one free or save 75%. Well, that's great, you're saving 75%, but you're still spending 25% more than you planned on. So is it really a savings? So just some interesting things that way. But SaveAndInvest.org has some really phenomenal resources available. And then, it's tax time. So IRS.gov has some really great resources on here, and I'm going to show you some apps, and you can hop on any of these sites if you guys are needing help. One of my favorite tools on IRS.gov is if you go into here and just push more, and then it is a withholdings calculator or withholdings estimator. So you might really appreciate that huge tax return that comes to you in February, March, or April whenever you file your taxes, but it might be more beneficial to you to have more money in your paycheck to live day to day. So with that withholdings calculator, you can go in and punch in all your information. You'll put in your current withholdings, how much you paid in taxes so far, and it tells you if you're going to get a refund or if you can go in and adjust like your W4, W2. There's you. Thank you. So you can go in that way. If you filed, you can track where's your refund if you want to know where that's at. And then I was watching actually a seminar by one of the employees of the IRS today, and she recommended filing your taxes as soon as possible because the occurrence of identity theft now with tax returns is incredibly high. So the sooner you get your return in, you're the one that's actually getting to use your information, and you'll get your own return. If you're waiting longer, you might file on April and meet the deadline, but somebody might have gotten hold of your social and filed a return. So just be cautious and
I have a doubt. I heard that you have up to 3 years when you start your business.
Okay, you have up to 3 years to state claim on your refund. Your refund,
From the
yes.
state, but the federal has to be every year.
The federal. Federal, you have 3 years to stake claim on your federal refund if you are due a refund. So what that means, and this is another really good point, think for a single person. If you make less than $10,500 in earned income a year, you're not required to file a tax return. But if your employer withheld any money in taxes, it's encouraged that you do file that return because you actually might get all that money back. So it's always, I just kind of as a general rule of thumb say, when in doubt, file the return, unless you want to go talk to an accountant and they can kind of help you. But even though if you made less than those $10,500, if they were taking any state or federal taxes out, if you file that return, you can actually get it back. So yes, you have 3 years. If you haven't filed, maybe you were supposed to file taxes last year and you didn't, for whatever reason. You're scared, whatever, go ahead and get that return sent in for last year and this year. If you were issued or due a return from the year prior, if you are still within those 3 years, you can actually get that back. And earned income tax credit's huge if you have kids. And like marriage, buying a house, all those different things help you with the returns. Question?
No.
Okay. Just a deep breath because the taxes are overwhelming. And then don't forget the one website I told you guys about. If you make less than $60,000, you can file there for free. Or you can call 211 and get an appointment with a VITA volunteer and they'll help you walk through it for free. So, and if you want to buy the software and do it yourself, you can. I just think that a lot of people could use the help and you don't know. And then Utah Educational Savings Plan. This, we didn't talk a whole lot about this, but the 529 savings plans work like mutual funds. There's the stocks, there's the bonds, but they're specifically designed for education. If you are working right now and wanting to go back to school, you can open a plan for yourself. You can open a plan for your child. And if the money, let's say you put it in a stock account that earns over the 18 years it's in there, about 6%, all of the earnings are tax-free if you use the money for school expenses. They just changed the law that computers and tablets are now school qualified expenses. So if you have money in here and you're thinking, well, I got a scholarship and or work pays for it, I don't really need it. If you need any type of technology to help you through that, those now count. So you can get a super nice computer or laptop or both. Question?
So like how long, like what if you're thinking of going to school like the next year? So you can open one up for like a year or something like that?
Yeah, you can. And because you just told me your time horizon is 1 year, not going to recommend you put it in the stock market because the stocks aren't doing well right now. They have, I believe, 14 different options.
Mm-hmm.
I'm highlighting, we live in Utah, but I'm highlighting them as well because they consistently rank in the top 3 in the country. They have an FDIC insured savings account that earns about 2% interest. You could put your money in there. You know you're not going to make a whole lot, but you're also, it's not in your bank and you're not tempted to spend it. Now, if you're a really disciplined person and having that savings account right next to your checking account and the ease of transferring doesn't tempt you, you might not need to open this. But if you like having things separate because it's another stepping stone and a stumbling block so you don't take out your school money, then this might be a good option for you. So, and then if you, let's say you open an account and then in 25 years your child is ready to go to school or whatever, if you didn't use all your money, you could actually roll your money over to your dependents. So you can transfer it across family members. And if you don't need the money to go to school because you've chosen another path and you just don't need it, you can always take your money out. You just have to pay taxes on the earnings. So
Okay,
just
so
be,
you don't
so
use
yeah.
it for school then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this money is always yours, but if you use it for school, it's tax-free. If you just want to take it out because you just want to, you would just have to pay taxes on the earnings.
Did you say it's paying 2%?
The, what other savings accounts is, yes.
See, so, yeah, if you're trying to put money away for school, it's about as good as you can do right there. With a small investment.
Yes. And you're not going to lose on that account. They also have stocks and bond accounts. Like, let's say you just had a child that's 2 years old and you know they're going to probably go to school in about 18 years. They have stocks and mutual funds you can invest in that are really aggressive for like the first 8 years of a child's life, and then they slowly start to reallocate or change investments so they're not as risky as the child ages. And they just do that automatically for you. So their website is uesp.org, and they are a nonprofit. that's been sanctioned or authorized by our state government to issue these funds. You can open, I should specify, you can open 529 plans at banks or at investment firms as well. So if you have a bank you really like, you could go open one there as well. This one is fun. So the AmericanSaves.org is kind of just like a social initiative and a social campaign to encourage people to save. So what you do when you go to America Saves is you can like log on, you can pledge to save a certain amount. I pledge to save for an emergency fund, and I get a text once or twice a month just asking if I've done it. And then I can say yes or no, and if you don't want the text, you can say please don't text me anymore, and they won't. But they'll send you also like helpful tips. Like if you split your tax return here and like let them know about it. So if you split it to save it and then spend some of it, they're actually giving away $32,000 in prizes. So if you just say, yes, I split half to go in savings, half is for checking because I want to pay off the bill, then you are eligible and might be in their drawing to win like cash prizes or just like, they have other things as well, like swag. But I like the cash best, so that's what I remember. But that's available. America Saves Week is the social initiative, and that's actually February 22nd through 27th. So on the radio and stuff, you might hear like public service announcements and things that way. And if you are inspired by other people's stories, if you just scroll down to the bottom of this, the savers will always go in and write their stories on blogs, so you can kind of get ideas and get inspiration from other people. So it's kind of a fun thing that way. Now, if you love your phone and you love technology, I'm going to highlight some apps that you can use. I've tried to like note if you could download them on Androids or iPhones. There's one that I wasn't able to verify because the Google Play Store just shut down on my computer at work today because it's not secure. But just keep these in mind, please. Make sure that you read terms and conditions. And I will tell you two interesting things I found out as I was reading the terms and conditions on 2 of these apps. Check the ratings. I found that people are pretty honest nowadays. If they hate something, they'll let you know. If they like it, they'll maybe tell you. But if you don't feel right about something, then don't use it. Just play it up straight and simple. It doesn't matter if I talk to you about it or not. If you're trying to find apps because you don't really like any of these or you're just curious, these key searches brought up a bunch of stuff for me if I just typed in budgeting, finances, investing, or personal finances. And I chose to highlight the free apps. There's some that you can pay for, but it's kind of just up to you. I feel like the free apps that are available are fairly good at what they do. And most banks and credit unions, if you log into your account, and I'm not going to show you this because I don't want anyone's banking information to be up here, a lot of them have budgeting software already in your like online banking, and it can track your spending and help you come up with a plan that way. So maybe rather if you're scared about giving your information to a third party, check with the bank or credit union you already use. Okay. The first one that I was like really excited about, and you can use this on Android and the Apple Store, is a site called Acorns. What this site does, it's actually an investing site. But rather than saying you have to commit $300 and you have to invest $500, if you sign up for this app, and it's free to download, but what they'll do is when you make your purchases of like $143.53, they would then take that extra 47 cents and transfer it from your savings or your checking account and then transfer it into an investment. So you're investing in stocks and mutual funds. They have different options that you can choose from. If you're really risk averse and you don't want to lose a lot of money, you could do a really like low risk investment fund. You can do moderate and you can do aggressive. It was really interesting. It has 4.5 out of 5 stars. Some of the reviews I was reading was saying, I didn't earn very much on my returns right now. Well, naturally, because the stock market is not doing well. But then one guy said, well, I didn't earn as much as I'd hoped, but I now have $1,500 I wouldn't have saved otherwise. So that's kind of just an interesting thing. And there's also a savings app that actually will round up and just transfer it into a federally insured savings account, if you don't want to do investments. Something with the Acorn app is it's free to download and use. If you start investing in it, they'll charge you $1 a month. But $12 for the entire year to invest is a very, very low expense ratio when you start comparing it to other things. And something that I actually checked on, I've had an IRA open since 2006. I don't know how I was then. But over the course of this 10 years, for my expense ratio. My expense ratio on that investment is 0.75%, but over the course of that investment, they've only taken out $90. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a gauge that way. I was thinking about it last week and I was like, I should probably get on and see how much they've actually taken, because they take it out automatically. But I feel like $90 over 10 years is not horrible. So, and they're doing a lot of the work for me, so I don't have to worry about it. Another app, which is kind of like the grandfather to every financial app out there, is Mint. And Mint is actually run and owned by Intuit, and I believe they own, what did I say? TurboTax. I think TurboTax is an Intuit software. They, with this program, you can use it on your computer, you can use it on your phone. They will link in to your bank accounts, and then you can link credit cards in there if you want. So it's kind of a live, continuing stream and update of all of your accounts. The one warning is just make sure you feel comfortable that another third-party agency has your account information. Intuit, on their website, on their security, it does say they use the same software that banks use to protect your information. And with the Mint app, nobody can ever transfer money from your accounts on this app. So it gives a snapshot of it, but they're not actually giving access to your bank accounts to transfer and spend money. So just be aware of it that way. I have a couple of family members who use this app and love it, because it automatically goes in and says, okay, you spent 50% of your income on food this month, you must have had lots of parties. It doesn't tell you that part, but it helps you start to think, why on earth did I buy that much at the grocery store? Maybe it was a case lot sale, or you like to stock up once or twice a year on like staples. So there's that app available. That's what it looks like in the Apple Store, and then you go in and you create your password and your email, and you sign up, and as soon as you get in there, it says, what's your bank, and you'll type your bank in, and it has thousands of banks, and then you link it, and you do your account information, and it will bring that in for
Do
you.
these come in through like Google?
Yeah, on Google Play,
Okay, so I guess I'm wondering on Google, they're not set up correctly. They default so that they and other parties can see what you're looking at. So
Okay.
you have to be real cautious that you don't allow somebody else to
to
be
gain
looking.
access. So that's a good reminder. Do you go in and change that in like your tools and settings, or where can you change that feature? Like
It's in the Google setup,
In the Google
I
setup.
believe so.
So if you're
It can
using,
get kind of confusing because the way they write it,
uh-huh,
you might think you're stopping it, but actually not.
you're allowing it
Yeah.
in. Okay, that's a good warning that way. Another app this is the one I couldn't find if it was actually on Google or through the Android market, and this was the last one I found, and it was like at 4:30 today, but I was really excited. So these are screenshots from my own phone. Daily budget, I liked what this did because I didn't have to tie in any of my actual account information. I get a little bit worried about doing that, I'm not gonna lie. But it's a free app, something to watch for. It offers in-app purchases. So Mint is free, straight up, no charges. This one is free, but then if you want to upgrade, you can, and I'm going to show you that in a second. What this does, it allows you to go in and do a daily budget. So you can go in and you can enter your income, your reoccurring spending, and then savings. And I just made up numbers, but I said, okay, my rent was $4.25 a month. That is $13 a day. If I spend $100 a month in gas, that's $3.23 a day. If I pay $80 a month to a credit card, it's $2.58 a day. Insurance, I said, was $63, which is $2 a day, and my phone is $25, so it's 81 cents a day. To me, this works well, because sometimes when I go into a store, I'm like, that's a great deal, I want to buy it, but then I can step back and say, that was 3 hours of my work life. That's not truly worth it to me. So kind of figuring out how much am I spending when it's divided out by day, it makes it more real to me. For some people this works, for some people it doesn't. This had 5 stars. It only has 145 reviewers, so take that for what it's worth. But then it went in, and it said today my monthly budget was $5.41. And I said, okay, what if I stopped by McDonald's and got a coffee this morning? If that coffee was $1, then you can see my budget from $5.41 went down to $4.41. And that means tomorrow, if I don't spend any more money, I only have $9 available, whereas if I didn't spend that dollar, I would have had $10, and by Thursday I would have had $16. this, I was reading some of the reviews on this. One gentleman, he loved to spend money, like it just gave him a thrill. But when he had it broken down by a monthly budget and he actually went in every day to update things, he said that doing this actually helped him save $1,500 just in an emergency savings account. So these apps are going to work different for different people. If you use the free version, you have general spendings, groceries, a household, and a transportation expense, which I feel like you can put, for me, I can put most of my spending in there. If you're wanting to upgrade to do drinks and social and restaurants, then it's $4.99. Is that really worth it? These are the things that you're buying. So just make sure that if you really want to use the app and are wanting to pay $5, it's an option, but you can do a lot on it for free. Capital is a really interesting one, and they are supposed to be getting onto the Android market. This is kind of like they make saving money a game. So what happens, where do you guys like to spend money? Or what's like a problem spot? Like a sporting store? So Amazon is kind of like your kicker. So what you can do on this is Capital will go in and you'll open a savings account that's FDIC insured, it's through a bank, and you can tie it to your regular checking account, and then you can set goals. So your goal might be you can't purchase anything on Amazon except for like once a month. And then if your phone finds out that you're on Amazon, then you'll penalize yourself. So what your penalty is, and you'll go and set your penalty and say, okay, maybe if I go to Amazon, even if I just look at the website, because I'm welcoming like the temptation, I'm going to find a deal, it will penalize you, and out of your checking account, it will automatically transfer like a $2 fine into your like Capital savings account. So the money at Capital, it's still yours, but it kind of makes a game of savings. If you're trying to like train for like a 5K, or maybe you're wanting to run a half marathon or something, if you're tracking your runs like on your phone through an app, you might say, if I run 3 miles a day every single Monday, then I'm going to reward myself with $5. So what it's going to do is going to take that $5 out of your checking account and put it in your Capital account. If you ever need money, you just say, hey, I need to transfer funds, it'll be into your account the next day. So the money is always yours, but it kind of sets it out of sight, out of mind, and you're setting like risk and rewards for yourself. I was getting this set up, and then this is said, we need to verify a few more things, and that's what they needed. I needed to send like a photo ID and things like that. They made me mad because they wouldn't let me use my post office box, and I don't like mail going to my apartment because I am so transient, I'm in and out all the time. So that frustrated me that I couldn't use the post office box, but this app works really well for people.
What was the rating on that?
Let's go back and see if I captured it. I did not capture it, but as soon as it's over, I'll check on my phone. I'll go to ask one, you know. Digit is a fun one. This is online, so you can sign up, and it's all text-based. So you'll go in and you'll set up a savings account, and you'll tie it once again to your checking account, so you have to risk and weigh, do you want another bank to have access to your information. But they do kind of like round-up games here too. So anytime you spend, you might say, anytime I spend, round up to the nearest dollar and transfer money into my savings account. What they will also do, Digit tracks and analyzes your spending, and they do a really phenomenal job of it. If every month, at the end of the month, you always have $200 in your checking account, they're going to determine you might not need that money, so they'll transfer that over into a savings account. From what I was reading in the terms and conditions, it says they'll transfer anywhere from $0 to $150. So you might have that money in your account, and knowing you have a bill coming up, Digit might think you don't need that money to spend, so they'll transfer it over to your savings account. If you're not watching closely, you might get hit with an overdraft. But it's kind of another way to like gamify or make your savings more fun. Once again, if you need the money, you just text the number. It's transferred back into your traditional account within 24 hours. One thing that I was really, I'm not trying to badmouth any of these apps, I just want to make you aware. I read through all the terms and conditions on this one. It says it's currently free of charge, but they reserve the right to start charging you at any time. And to me, I was like, whoa, I can do free checking and savings at my local bank, and if I want to open a credit union, I can do that too for free. And so while this is cool, I didn't like that like kicker. They're advertising no hidden fees, so they said they would let me know if they were gonna do that, but I was like, man, that would be a pain to have to say, transfer all my money over now, because I don't want to use the account anymore. So just keep in mind that way, but it works well for people. Penny had pretty high reviews. If you're wanting like a financial advisor, Penny is a really great way to do it. You can do this on Apple and the apps. So when you sign on and download, it says, hi, I'm Penny, and then you create your account there. One of my coworkers uses this and loves how personal it is. Like, they're always like, hey, how are you doing? Have you met your goals? You can go in and set budgets here. This is kind of like the cheese ball conversation, like, hi, Penny, I'm your coach, and you say hi, Penny, back. And then she just talks about what she does, and then you can say cool or like whatever you want. It has some really cool graphs so you can track spending. If you love Excel sheets, you might do this on your own, so you don't need apps. But it says like January spending is this blue line, December spending right here went a little crazy because you were behind on Christmas probably. So you can kind of track that way. And then it says like, these are your responses. It gives you like things like, tell me more, yeah. And then you can put in like your bank account and it will like link in there so it tracks your spending for you. And they bring in like gratitude icons. So just kind of is like fun that you have like somebody there, but maybe you don't feel like you're getting judged as much because you're not like sitting across from the people. If you have debt problems, there is a free app that Utah State and New Mexico State Extension has developed. It's only available through the Apple Store, but you can also go to the website and sign in for free. What happens here is you'll put in your credit card name and your balance. They don't link it in. So it's like you're not giving your actual information to a third party. But what it does, the idea behind PowerPay is you set your goals. So you might say, I want to pay off my highest interest debt first, and then it will tell you how you can do that. If you would have just been making the minimum payments, this is just an example I put in of $20,000 in debt. It would take 13 years to pay it off if you were making the consistent payment. If you PowerPay, so as soon as you get the smallest balance paid off, you start putting that money toward the next smallest balance, it would hit your savings time down, and you would be able to pay that off within 8.5 years. So that's an app. You can see on there I just chose 8 debts, and then I can calculate my payment plan. If I get like a bonus or anything at work, I could put in an extra payment. And then if I'm wanting to save like an emergency fund, that's on there as well. And so that's free of charge, just on the Apple Store or powerpay.org if you don't have an Apple. I'm kind of a goof and I love financial calculators. These were all free of charge. I found this in the Apple Store, but you can also get it on Android. It's fncalculator.com. I think when I searched it was like easy calculators. There's over 20 financial calculators on there. So these are all of the options that they have there, and then I'll show you these ones as well. Bond, stock calculator, and then in miscellaneous calculators, they have a lot of other ones. If you like to travel, they have a currency converter for every country in the world. So I can see, or if I'm sending, I have some friends that live in Peru, sometimes I'll send them money just like for birthdays or whatever. I can figure out how much are my American dollars going to get them in Nuevo Soles, which is their currency. So it's kind of fun that way if you're like traveling around and you need to calculate something that way. I wanted to show you time value of money, because you can find time value of money calculations everywhere. I want you to just have a general idea. So on time value of money, there's a really messy formula if you're a mathematician that you can actually calculate this out on your own. I like calculators because I don't have to think so hard. But if you're doing a time value of money calculation, if you want to know how much your investment's going to grow, you're always going to have your present value. So that's how much money you have right now. You're going to have your payments, which is the money that you're going to invest. Your future value is typically what we want to find out. And then your annual percentage rate. Periods is kind of like a weird term of saying it, but that's just your time frame. Something to be aware of that way. If you choose to compound monthly, then you're going to have, if I chose 36 years, I'm going to have 360 payment periods. If I'm wanting to compound yearly, then I would only have a 36 there. So sometimes people will mess up their time value calculations because they mix up the periods and they're thinking years and it should have been months and vice versa. So I just said if I have $100 right now and I can invest $50 a month and it's going to make 8.5% for 360 months, at the end of that investment I would have $83,000. So it doesn't, like $50 a month doesn't seem as painful, but by the end of it you'd have $83,000, which is a nice chunk of change for whatever you need it for. So those are available. There's countless time value money calculators. I just like this one because it has so much available. MyFi is another one that Utah State put together in conjunction with Arizona State's Cooperative Extension. This one is all manual. You're going in and entering, you're not connecting or linking things together, but it lets you do like savings accounts. I think there's a yes, you can figure out if I want to save for X, then I need to do this. Savings amounts, how much can I afford, and payoff calculators. You can, what I really like is when you first go in here, you get to set your gauge. So if you're a farmer, they said do it by heads of like cattle or bushels of wheat or like acres of land. I'm not a farmer, I don't know anything about it, and so I just chose to do hours of work, and then I set my value. So I said, what's my item that I want to gauge, hours of work, how much is it? And I just put in, I think $15 for the example, but it's saying how long is it going to take me to pay off my debt? I said my debt had 17% interest, my balance I owed today was $950, I paid $85 a month. You can see it's going to take me 12, I'm going to say 13 months, but 12 and a quarter to pay off. And then that ends up being 5 hours worked each month or 68 hours worked each year. So for me, that was a cool gauge to go in and see, man, if I buy this on credit and I can't pay it off right then it's going to take that much of my life away. So those are just some apps that are available that way. There's countless apps. If you go in my budgeting, from what I could gather, it always would put like the top rated apps first. But there's tons and tons of resources available. Like I did mention, you have tons of stuff available also probably through your banks if you're hesitant to give somebody that information. Do you guys have any questions or apps or things that work for you? Questions?
So the currency one, like, doesn't each country's currency kind of change, but how their economy's doing? So
It's like
if
a-
I like type in, you know, because I'm gonna go on a trip to Thailand, so if I type in that, is that gonna be current, like right now?
Yes.
Me looking, okay.
When I was researching it, it says it's real time. So they'll go in and update it like every day, like every other day, so it's current that way for you. So, and I really like that app. It's free of charge. You're not like getting in my bank information. It's just a healthy
You just kind of type in how much money you,
And you could say like US dollars to Thai. I don't know what they use there. It's like a yen or I don't know. Or you could say if you're coming back over and you have like 500 whatever Thai uses and you wanted to like convert it back in, you could say, okay, then I should get this, yeah. And it's a way you can check as well if you're going into like a foreign bank so that you don't get ripped off. Because then it'd be like, oh, that girl doesn't know the exchange rate, we're only going to give her half the value.
Oh, okay.
But with the calculator, you're like, oh, I should get back like 45. It happens.
There's an easy mark.
So you can kind of do
Monopoly money.
the reverse
The
translation.
real challenge is out there when you're out there on the street.
Yes.
They're telling you this costs this much.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, well, is that,
Is that really true, or?
My sister and my brother-in-law went to Mexico over Christmas break.
Yeah.
And one would go ask first for the price, and then the second one see if it was the same one where they were buying the items. Because it was happening to them.
What did they find out? They give the better deals to the
Like,
sister or the husband?
the husband knows how to negotiate more,
Better,
so
okay.
he's like, no, never mind, I don't want it, and then they'd be like, okay, and they'd go less.
better to get something than none at all, right?
Absolutely.
So he would negotiate more, but I guess they can tell when you're out
Out of the country, like
the
your
country.
accents and stuff.
take advantage.
Probably your clothes.
And don't wear red shirts.
Yeah, and just like you never get what you don't ask for. So hey, can you give me a deal, or what's the best you can do? Is a phrase that I learned at a conference. Like, because if you go up to somebody and say, "Is that all?" they might get like offended. And be like, "I tried to give you a deal." But if you say, "Is that the best you can do?" Everyone always wants to put their best foot forward. It's like, let me go check and ask the manager. So if you're ever trying to negotiate, even in the United States, just, is that the best you can do? And see what they say. If it's yes, thank you so much. I really enjoyed working with you, and you walk out. The guy that was teaching us that, he actually got a glove sack for like $200 and then like a whole bunch of pens and stuff because he just kept saying, "Is that the best you can do? Is that the best you can do?" Well, we had to sell 2 weeks ago. We can sell it at that price. Well, this one's on clearance because it has like a stain on it, and so we just kept asking, and they kept dropping the price. So it works. if you have that personality or are ready to try it. So.
That even still works here in this country.
Yep.
If you have the gumption or the personality to ask that. My wife just hates it when I go shopping with me because if you don't ask, you don't get it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm staying home. I'm watching Dynasty.
You can do our purchasing. I'll let you do my shopping. If you're willing to ask those questions, so. We're gonna do,
I have a question.
question, yeah.
So which app was it again that, I know Digit did it, but you said that one said they might charge. But the one that like what you didn't spend, like you could save or whatever, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
capital.
Oh, capital.
Okay. The game with that, so you set your if-then statements. If you like really need to stay out of the store, like let's say that Target is like your weakness, it can like, if you allow it to, it can like track you through your map on your phone. And if you step within like 100 feet of Target, it's gonna like find you and like transfer the money into your account. And you might just think, whatever, I don't care. Like I'm going in there, it's just going in my savings account. But it kind of becomes a game to like beat your goal.
Leave your phone at home.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Just leave your phone at home.
I
But
don't have any experiences, but I recently got mad at Kohl's, so I paid off my account. Just they can't make money off my money.
yes.
Go girl.
Yeah, so you can do just kind of some fun things that way.
How risky is doing the currency trading?
Currency trading,
Risky.
it's very risky. If you feel confident in your abilities, my advice would be don't use any money that you can't afford to lose. And so you guys as a couple, you might really be interested in want to like just try it and like play with it. So you might say, okay, I know I have $200 I can use here. If I make money, then great. If I lose the 200, I don't get to do this again. But currency trading is very risky.
Where can you do that?
Vegas.
One of the things with currency trading is your circadian rhythm will need to change because you need to be on the market like at midnight or whatever market you're looking at. If you're looking at Europe or if you're looking at China, it's 10 o'clock here.
Right.
It might be a different, it's going to be a different time wherever you're at. There's software out there that you can buy. Might be able to find some stuff that just kind of gives you some insight into it. I had an acquaintance when I was working with some scouting. I met a lot of professionals when I was involved with wood badge and scouting, and one of them was a currency trader. And he had done very well, but he'd been doing it for 30 years. And he said he'd been all over the chart on it. But he said it's really risky because you really have to understand it's not just a matter of feeding it into some software. You have to understand what's going on globally. It's really no different than the stock market. You just made probably the best advice that you could give is don't risk it if you can't afford to lose it. It doesn't matter whether it's security stocks, bonds. If you can afford to lose it, give it your best shot. If you can't afford to lose it, then even the advisors are in that same. Only problem is they're not losing their own money; they're losing your money. So,
You can, I think probably there's like some brokerages and stuff that would do that. I just have not ever checked into it. So, but if you like, I'm hesitant to say like Google currency trading because you might get like kind of like a Nigerian pimp scam.
Right.
But I think if you were to Google it and then kind of start checking like customer reviews and different things like that, you might be able to find something.
Because when I lived in Brazil, like whenever I got money from friends, I was trying to get the best.
Yes.
and the thing to do is to go in there and study it. And then if you think you've got $10,000 or something you want to play with, but you have to understand very clearly when you make a trade what you're committing yourself to, so that you don't overextend yourself. And if you get it right, it's just like anything else. It's like this first month, the stock market, has performed the worst it's ever had in the first of the year.
Mhm.
But what's happening every day, when these stocks are selling low, let me rephrase it, the stocks are dropping, so what's happening there? Somebody is buying them low.
Right.
So it's somebody's taking a loss and somebody else is gambling that by buying it at less than what it was worth a month ago, they're gonna gain. You know, like tonight I asked my wife, I said, you know, it's tempting to go out and buy some oil stocks, but they're so low and oil's gonna come back.
Okay.
But then you look at the major oil companies and they can't sell it fast enough. So how do you make that decision? You know, that's the stuff that they invite, even these people that have all of the Wells Fargo, you know, they have hundreds of people looking at this stuff back in, I think, St. Louis or Kansas City or Atlanta. And they're gambling. They don't know. It's really doesn't have the crystal ball. They're doing the best educated guess they can. And you know, tomorrow, you know, somebody starts a war in China or someplace, what we thought today could be topsy-turvy. So again, it comes back to don't gamble with money you can't afford to lose.
Right. So my boyfriend sends money to Mexico weekly.
Mhm.
And so right now, Mexico's dollar to peso ratio is 18, which is the highest it's ever been. And so I have family members, like for example my mom, they're like, oh, I'm gonna send money to my sister, they think it's awesome, they're gonna get lots of pesos. But my boyfriend, he's got actually like sheep and cattle, he's got all this stuff over there. He says it's not a good thing because like a sheep used to be like 300 pesos, now it's worth 600 pesos. If ketchup was $3 now, 3 pesos, now it's like 6 pesos. So everything's doubling in price as the peso value is going.
Inflation.
So for him, he's like, no, stop the growth. And other people are like, oh, I'm gonna send money.
Yes.
You know?
So it kind of just depends. Any other questions or experiences?
I did get a phone call this week from some man claiming that he was from the FBI. And then there was a complaint against me.
Really?
Wow.
And I haven't done anything, so.
Right.
Yeah, he left me a message. He was like, can you call us back and give me information? I was like, no.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know everything and you wouldn't be calling me to be at my doorstep.
What federal law did you break?
That's what I want to know.
So
Did you rip up a $100 bill?
Did you go to that investment seminar or the real estate thing?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. Because I was going to go with my sister, and she's the one that's trying to buy a house, and I wanted them to integrate her, because she was like the main person, so they're going to ask her all the questions, and I'm just going to get there for this women listening in, right? But if I was going to go by myself, I didn't want to be like, so what are you thinking? What's your budget? What's your plan?
Good choice.
I did that at the beginning of last year. I didn't want to go there again.
Good deal. Yeah, so be aware of like phantom callers that, hey, this is the FBI, this is the IRS, you haven't paid. The IRS won't call you by phone, it's going to be a written letter. And the FBI, you know how they work, so.
Last year there was I think it was an electric bill. I think it was like a Rocky Mountain Power that they were getting calls. Was it?
Yeah, there was a fraud thing going on with that there for a while.
And a lot of people were thinking that their bill was overdue and they will pay it. And
They will
oh God.
they'll shut your power off.
I mean, truth is, you should be able to
but they called
look
my
on your site and see whether you're up to date or not.
they called my aunt, and my aunt was already aware of the fraud calls, but it does say Rocky Mountain on your caller ID.
So they
it would
would
say it.
find me.
Uh-huh.
Wow. So you gotta be cautious that way. There was I'm trying to remember, a website I use often is somebody was impersonating them and saying, hey, you might be getting phone calls, we're not the ones calling you. It might have been like the securities, I don't know who it was. There's a website I use a lot, like at work, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Around Christmas, I was getting Hilton Hotel and Marriott. Who got those? The Hilton and Marriott hotels. You just won a free vacation to blah blah blah. Like every day they would call.
And what they've got it to do now is they'll call like a family member or a friend, and like if you call them back, they're able to capture that information. So then when they call you back, it looks like it's coming from like a recognizable number.
Oh, because then they start calling my son's number, and my son and I have the same
Very
account,
similar, yeah.
so they start calling my son's number too.
The other one that's out there quite a bit now, I get them about every other week, it seems like, and that's the money lenders. They'll call it and they'll say, you've been approved for X number of dollars, you know, we just need your this or that. And so I haven't asked for a loan for a long time, and I certainly wouldn't go to them.
Right.
But I mean, they make it sound like, you know, you're in business, you know, all you gotta do is give us the okie dokie and we'll charge you 400% loan you the money.
To learn more or to find a class, visit slcolibrary.org/smartinvesting.